Hello, plastic model kit builders. Today we have a side cutter showdown, and yeah, just if you're gonna be investing in some side clippers or side nippers, I thought I'd share these with you guys, and we'll see how well they cut. So, historically, I've been using these. These were handed down to me by my father, so these could be 50 to 70 years old. They're Swiss made. They're made by a company called Erem, and they're still around. And they're quite expensive, like $60 to $100 a piece. And I have two different models, 792E and 776E. But if these are several decades old, I don't know how much stuff they were cutting. And they're electronics cutters for electrical engineers. So these things are probably cutting soldering tips and all that stuff, much harder than plastic. But I've still been using them. But I've noticed that when I clip some of the plastic pieces off sprues, it causes that white stretching mark. So I feel that maybe these blades might be getting dull. And so I invested in these two. And the first one is a Tamiya cutter. And this is, there's two different versions out there. This is, 74035. So I don't know the description of it. It just says side cutter for plastic. But it's that model number, and there's a different model number out there you can research. And then I did some research here, and people highly recommend the Godhand SPN-120 for the final cuts of your pieces. There are fake copies of these out there. These are original ones because I bought it from a place that sold 700 of them, and everyone said it was good. But these are around 60 bucks. And they're not meant to cut the thick sprues, only like the very fine tips to the part itself. So you can't be cutting thick plastic with these, or you might break them. But do a search with Godhand, and you'll see that some people have complained about possibly getting counterfeits. So we're going to open up these two last because they're brand new, and hopefully with these two, I'm thinking this one will cut the big pieces, and this will do the final cuts to the model kits. Alright. For my Hot Wheels projects, I've been using this. This is a Knipex or a Knipex, and I use this to actually cut the axles of Hot Wheels with this 0.7 millimeter steel, and I've done it hundreds of times now, and it hasn't been an issue. I've actually ground this down so it can get inside a Hot Wheels body better. Still strong. They have many different kinds, so there's no doubt in my mind that this thing can clearly cut, plastic. The question is, how clean of a cut? So I'm in the middle of building this model kit in a separate video. So you see the cut there. If I could get in here. That's not very clean, You can clearly see the white is stretched. You know what? I'm going to move the camera. Alright, so I'm going to cut here. Yeah, look how much it stretches, because these aren't meant to be cutting plastic model kits. These are electrician cutters. These are meant to be cutting copper wire and stuff like that. So they even have ratings on their website for what they can cut through. Well, it's actually printed here, 0.4 millimeter copper to 3 millimeter copper. So if this thing was copper, that's what this thing is designed to cut through. So this is not for model kits, but I just thought I'd share it with you guys in case you want to start cutting thin diameter wire for, customizing wire, tubing, or who knows, conduits on your model kits. So you can check out their website, and they have a whole different bunch with different ratings. This is the model number. Okay. Alright, so I bought these here locally. It does say Japan on it, but they were cheap. I wish I could tell you what that text really says. Pumpkin. Alright, the brand is called Pumpkin. I doubt you're going to be able to find them outside of in my country here. Yeah, see how it stretched it? All that white banding. So I think this would be fine for cutting the main sprues like this, but I don't think it'll do well on a final cut. I don't know, we'll have to see. Let's just cut through all these, try all these on these main sprues. But this actually seems worse than the Knipex one. Well, it didn't deform the edge so much. See, let's do this one more time with this. See, this created a V because it's not a true side cutter. there's actually a chamfer on this backside. There is no chamfer on the backside of this one, so it's a much flatter cut, but still stretching the plastic. Sorry about losing the focus. Yeah, alright. These are really cheap ones. I think I bought off AliExpress. They probably cost like $2 or $3, and there's no brand on them at all. But also there's a chamfer here. So these are extremely low-grade versions of those Knipex. So this is going to create a V shape. Yeah, a V. What is that? To its credit, there's not much stretching going on. You don't see too much white. Anyways, so that would work fine for, you know, big giant cuts like this. Okay, so now we have some more electronics type of cutters here. And I have to warn you, I've bought several of the cheap ones off AliExpress, and literally the blades have broken cutting stuff like this. And so they're cheap, they're like $3, but I'm more concerned about the blade flying into my eye, which you just don't expect to happen when you're cutting plastic. You know, if I was cutting metal, first I wouldn't even try to cut metal, but then I would expect it to break. This one here has a gas model 170, and it's copper wire of a maximum of 1 millimeter. So this one I've had for a few years now and it's never broken. You know, I just use it to cut off the wheels of Hot Wheels. You know, if this is meant to cut 1 millimeter metal, it can cut through a Hot Wheels wheel pretty well. So you'll see this has no chamfer on the backside, hopefully. And you'll see the cut it made. It's relatively flat, but it did stretch it. Okay. But yeah, that would be fine for big sprue cuts, I guess. That one. So this one here, again, another AliExpress special. It just says conductive, you know, so this is to keep you from getting electrocuted. And it's got a nice spring on it, and it does look like it's made of a stainless steel of some sort. But no branding, because it was probably like $4 or $5. And but so far it hasn't broken. I've had this for a couple of years as well. No chamfer here, so it should be a flat cut. But again, stretching it. So, you know, it's meant to cut electronics stuff, wiring and solder tips. Alright, this is another AliExpress special, but it has branding of something called Zupon, X-U-P-O-N, cord. You'll see this thing is blown through. No chamfer on the backside. This would be a relatively flat cut. Sorry, the cat wanted out of the room there, so. Alright, so, again, just for big sprue cuts like this, I guess any one of these clippers would be fine. But I am curious about these. Now, this I'm a little skeptical. I wouldn't really cut this plastic with such a small tip. If I think I do it slowly, maybe it'll be okay. Let's do it really slow. Yeah, see, it still stretched the plastic quite a bit. Alright, this other one, I do it really slow towards the back. Yeah, stretching the plastic, you can see it. It's definitely the smoothest of the cuts, considering also this thing is probably 50 years old and it's probably cut a million things in its life. It's pretty impressive, but I don't want to see this sort of stuff on my models. Okay. Now the question is, these Tamiyas, will it cut something nice? It is saying here, well, I can't really tell what it's trying to warn you against there. There's no dimension mentioned. This is all Japanese, of course. Some sort of tax stamp there, or sticker. Alright. So, let's try here. These are relatively, they're quite thin, so I think they're meant for final cuts. I'm going to just do it really slow towards the back for strength. Yeah, that's stretching as well. But it was definitely the smoothest cut. All the other ones felt like they were snapping towards the end. This is definitely, you can see, hopefully. It's a relatively, you know, smooth surface. So that's pretty nice. it is definitely stretching right there. It might just be because this is such thick plastic. Maybe everything will stretch it. Now the Godhand, I don't think I'm even going to try. Well, it does say 3mm. So hold on here. Made in Japan, does say 3mm. So I guess it should be okay. On the back, there is a hologram sticker, so hopefully that's one way you can tell this is legit. I don't know. Is it easier to copy holograms? Probably. I just went off a reputable dealer more than this, the picture of the packaging. It's nice it comes with a little tip to protect a tip protector. So tip protector wise, yeah, that's fine. This one has a purple spring. I saw on a thread some people said they didn't, but I think that's just a change by the company. So that doesn't necessarily mean you're buying a genuine one. But in this case, it helps to recognize. But there might be actual genuine ones with just black springs or regular metal finish springs. So the spring is very good. The return is quite strong. And then you'll see there's a bottom out, and that can be adjusted, which you probably don't want to do. I'm pretty sure it must be calibrated properly by Godhand. As to what this thing is, I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know, an oil port or something? Please leave a comment if you can tell me what this little black rod is. If I had to guess, it probably comes out and you drop oil in there so you can lubricate the thing. Alright, now, so look at the thinness of this tip. So going back to the Swiss one, yeah, the Swiss one's quite thick there. This larger Swiss one, it's just a much bigger head. And then the Tamiya, and then finally the Godhand. Alright, so it's I gotta say this, I'm gonna pull this one out. This actually isn't that far off. This is definitely thinner, but this is clearly in a different league of thinness. Alright. I'm a little scared to cut something this thick, but maybe if I do it towards the back. Oh boy, that is crazy. That is noticeably smooth, and you see it didn't stretch much of that. Hold on, I gotta hit focus on that little thing. Wow. So that is why this is such an expensive cutter. Now will the counterfeit work? I don't know. The first one of the really early threads when I looked up Godhand fake is someone clipped it someone broke theirs within the first 5 minutes. But that's good. That's very impressive. Very impressive indeed. Alright, so I'm positive I could probably get some nice cuts, right? Finished cuts. Alright. So again, for me, I would hesitate using any of these four for cutting 3mm plastic, even though they're rated for it. I don't want to break, expensive clippers like these. So I'll probably just, use these cheap ones, any one of these 5 cheap ones, and I'll just, cut out way out here. Right. Let me cut all these parts off so then it will do some final cuts with the different clippers. Okay, we got 4 pieces there. Well, you know what? If for some reason you want to try with these really crude ones, so that's not very good. It's really tearing the plastic. So yeah, that's why you want to have a second stage of cutting, the final cutting. So we'll start with these. Were the short ones. I'm going to start with the short Erem ones, the Swiss ones. Still, it's ripping the plastic. Let me try again. Give it a... If these were brand new, it might be a different story, but I just don't know the history of these. But you see it's clearly tearing the plastic, so which is what provoked me to buy these new ones. So this one's out for sure. Let's try this longer one. Same thing. Tore the plastic, so this is out. Yeah, I'll use those for like, I don't know what, but not making model kits. Okay, so now let's go to Tamiya. Much better. Still tore a little bit of plastic. Let me try it in this orientation. Still tore a little plastic, that's for sure. But better than those Swiss ones for sure. Alright. Godhand. Amazing. It was just such a smooth cut because they're so thin, there's not much resistance. And you can see a little bit of white, but it's definitely the best of the ones so far. Let me try in this orientation, lengthwise. Right? That's impressive. So, let me clip off some more parts here. Alright, I got some more parts. I am curious about these super cheap AliExpress ones. Oh, no, I'm sorry, they're local to Thailand. These pumpkins. Because they are flat, you know, there's no inside chamfer here. So let's see what happens. That's actually pretty good. You can just hear the smoothness of the cut. That's impressive actually. So that I'm going to put that one right there. And then we'll try the Tamiya again. So this one's on an angle. It was a lot, this one was quieter. Yeah, that one was louder. So looking at the Tamiya versus the cheap pumpkins, actually the pumpkin might be a little bit more torn. Yeah, actually the pumpkin is worse. You can clearly see there's more white tearing of the plastic. Alright, well anyways, it's not bad. It's just not great either. Alright. So we'll put the pumpkin away. Now we'll go to the Godhand and try this same part here. So this one's at an angle. Almost silent. So the Godhand is on the left. The Tamiya here is on the right. You can see there's more white showing there. But here, almost the same. But the Godhand for me feels a lot smoother. Let me do one far away and then one really close. So we do a pre-cut so there's not much plastic there. One issue I'm noticing with the Godhand is it's not getting right against the surface. See, I can see that bump of plastic. I don't know if that's as good as it gets in the world of clipping model kits. Like I'm pressing it right against that surface. I kind of feel like even though the Swiss ones here, even though they're going to tear the plastic, I felt like they got closer. So let's see here. Pressing against the flat surface. Yeah, see, it tore the. There's not a plastic bump there, but it did tear out plastic. So I don't know. I guess it's by design, maybe the Godhands to leave a little plastic like that. Oh, actually, that one's quite smooth. No, there's a little nub. I can feel it with my finger. You can hear it. Maybe the theory is to leave a little bit of plastic like that, and then you can sand it perfectly smooth. But you know, with the other one, you would have to now add putty to smooth it, fill it with putty, and then sand it down like body filler. You know, like in a car. So that could be on purpose as to why it doesn't work like that. All right, back to Tamiya. That didn't leave much plastic behind, although it did, you know, leave a lot of white. Yeah, the Tamiya doesn't leave much plastic behind, so that worked pretty well. Same part, Godhand. Well, I gotta say, I was careful, and it didn't leave much plastic behind. Yeah, alright, that's not bad. I think the issue was maybe I was trying to do it through a phone screen, and so that's not very good. And if I actually look at the profile of this thing, you'll notice it is designed quite uniquely. It's not a mirror image of itself. This blade here is much thinner than this blade here. I wonder if this is aligned properly. Let's see if this is totally flat on that back side. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is by design or not. When I run my finger over, I feel like I'm catching the thicker one, and that might be the reason why it's leaving plastic behind. The Tamiya, it doesn't catch, you know, it's one smooth surface. It's definitely a smoother. You can hopefully see, it looks like the same plane. But this one, trying to see if there's any play. There's no play whatsoever. So it's hard to say. I don't know. I can say it cuts the smoothest of all of them. It's quite amazingly smooth. You know, you saw the proof right here. Right, it almost tears nothing. The only issue is kind of leaving a little nub behind. Let me pull a few more parts. Alright, I'm really trying to give the benefit to this Godhand because they're so expensive. I want to like them. Alright, I'm going to look off camera with my own eyes. Put that right against that surface. Alright, that was... it's a curved surface. It is good. But that one tore. It seems to want to tear when it's on a curved surface versus a flat surface. Let's try a flat surface then. Yeah, alright. It's definitely smooth. Let's try this one. Alright. I guess I'm satisfied. That's smooth enough. I don't, I mean, I can barely feel that. So I guess it just depends how careful you are, you know, setting these things down. Yeah, on the surface itself. Yeah, okay. Alright, well, anyways, I think both of these are quite nice. You know, they're definitely better than all those other ones I showed you. Possibly if you bought brand new versions of these Swiss Erem ones, they might work pretty well. But they clearly aren't as thin, you know, as far as getting close to a part right off the tree. In fact, that's something we haven't tried, to try to actually cut it right off the runner. So first we'll try the Tamiya one. Okay, so that was right against the thing. I mean, yeah, definitely tore it. Yeah, definitely tore it. Left a little extra on the surface. So that's the Tamiya. Let's try the same part with the Godhands in the same cutting style. Yeah, I might have had a bad angle on that one. I cut too much plastic off. But this one is, again, I think it's leaving material behind. It's a smooth cut, but it's not really cutting flush with the surface. So please leave a comment if you actually have original ones, if it's actually cutting exactly flush with the surface, or if it's leaving behind a little bit of a nub on purpose. That would be nice to know. I'm sure other people would want to know as well, you know, for such an expensive set of nippers. Okay, well, I guess that's it for today. Draw your own conclusions, decide where you want to spend your money. But I was really hoping I could just have clippers where I clip it once and then I could just go right to paint. But right now, if I wanted to make a perfect model, I feel like I would have to still sand that off. And if you're going to sand that off, well, I don't know, maybe just the Tamiyas would be fine because they're like half the price, right? Thanks for watching today. We'll see you in the next modeling review. Alright guys, I had to share this with you because these were basically defective clippers. These are supposed to be flush, I'm pretty sure of it. And so what I did is, rather than deal with trying to get a refund or something, I have a diamond sharpener. This side is 400, this side is 600. So I just took this thing, I held it tight, and I took the 400 and I sanded it, you know, starting more on that side until it became, sorry, always losing focus. So you can see it's all one continuous sanded surface. And then once I did that, I flipped it over to 600 to try to get a little smoother than 400. And then if I really wanted to, I could take, you know, 1000 grit paper and you know, make that one continuous surface. So now, let's take a look at this. This is a curved surface. Doesn't matter, it's flush, right? This is a flat surface. Oh no, maybe this is curved, but we'll do it anyways. See, it's much more flush. Let me try this hand here. I still have the diamond dust on my fingers. So that's the flushness I was looking for. Instead of that ledge that we saw before. Yeah, see, that I could go right to paint, I think. It's good enough for me. Let's try it on the sprue. Maybe this piece here. Or this piece here. This one I'm going to try to cut in this orientation. Now we'll do this rounded side here. This one I'm going to cut sideways. Okay, we'll see what these cuts look like. That's not bad. Doesn't bother me. That's much better, I think. There's still a little left over though. No, that's not the best cut. That one is pretty smooth though. It's pretty flush with the plastic, I think. Yeah, that I'm pretty happy with. That could have been my best one. Alright, boy. Let's try this one. This one definitely has some flat surfaces, so kind of far away with the Tamiya ones. This one will cut like this. Pretty good. Let's try the irrational way, lengthwise. It's actually maybe better. And then you'll see it's not tearing any of the plastic away. Oh, now that I said that, that one did tear. But that one, that was pretty flush with that surface. So, yeah, I hate to tell you guys the quality control isn't very good. I don't know how this passed inspection. If you can rub your fingernail across and it snags, that's going to be the same amount of plastic that's left on your cuttings. Right now, my fingernail will not snag because that's one continuous surface, just like the back end of the Tamiya, right? That's one continuous surface. So keep that in mind. You know, maybe I'll send this video to Godhand and we'll see what their response is. But I'm lucky enough that I was able to fix this problem. But that means you have to go and buy a diamond stone, right? A really fine one. You probably want to be better than 600 as well if you want to get really tight to that thing, right? Okay, well, thanks for watching again, and we'll see ya.